was reminded that evil exists. And that there are people in the world who are willing to kill innocent people to advance a cause. I don't know what this cause is, but we'll find out.
You obviously feel very passionate about the national debt. The other day you gave a speech in which you compared it to slavery.
Slavery, yes. And it's not a racist thing to do, by the way, which I know somebody's going to claim it is.
From Ferguson, the curfew there lifted overnight, but the protests and violence not ended. President Obama has dispatched Attorney General Eric Holder to Missouri's going to do that tomorrow. And this morning we're hearing from a friend.
For once, somebody would stick up for me for once. And Holly's a bloody ass bitch.
I don't think I said anything to Holly.
Oh, and I think she's been working.
I
I am convinced, based on my study of the Bible, that I'm coming out of the ground too. If he came out, I'm coming out.
And now, our national anthem.
For the last 2 years, I've badgered Steve Gabriel at Worklife Productions and then in turn the folks at Music Theater International to let us have the show first. And after a long time of back and forth emails, we finally got it.
Right now we're working on getting these 2 units attached together so we have something to play with while we're rehearsing. They're about to put a nice platform face on it so that it's an even form for us.
We're working hard today. Wait a second, we have to lift you. Huh? Oh, no! Puke it up.
Representative of Jingletown has the floor. has been an interesting challenge of a show. We're trying to create a world that is fluid, that allows for a great deal of motion and movement, quick transitions from location, something that is neutral enough that won't overpower the rest of the show, but still makes a statement. So when I was working on the show, I was trying to find appropriate textures in this world I was creating, and I decided to create a world out of plastic and metal. I kind of remembered going to New York, walking the streets of New York, dodging construction scaffolding, seeing those sort of plastic pieces that in doorways we have to separate, go through. So I thought those were sort of some imageries and some materials that I could utilize for this production of the show. So I created a world of plastic and steel that the actors shape and mold and shift by moving around, and locations are changed by way of video and some projection work and a lot of moving lights. So we have band on stage, we have a lot of high energy, and I created a show that was based also on conceptualizing an American flag and sort of deconstructing it. So I have elements of American flag introduced into this set as well. It's been evolving. In fact, it evolved until about 5 minutes ago when I was up on stage with a paintbrush introducing a new element into the show, and that is a single accent of color. And the single accent of color I decided to introduce was red. It's sort of the red from an American flag, and it helps sort of elevate, I think, the energy level of the set to match the energy level of the rest of the production.
So much of this production is synced up with videos that we have on the different monitors, and as well as the moving lights and all of the automated things that have to go on. And in order for all of that to work, we had to make sure that the tempos for some of these numbers are exactly precise night after night after night, so that everything lines up. I can just hit a key actually on the keyboard, and the click starts through that number so that everything stays lined up. All of the musicians are listening to the click track. We all have the same headphones, and we're all listening, and we have a mix of the band and the vocals and the clicks, and then I also have a mic right here that I can talk into and say things to the musicians so that we're all on the same page.
So when you get here, Frankie, just already have them spread. And then for Sex Machine, you can be like comic books. Yeah. you're walking, but you're like walking normally.
Oh, okay.
A little more.
In the middle of it. Perfect.
Yeah, give him a little bit of room.
Have to be manly.
Okay, alright, so.
Yeah, you do.
How this is gonna work? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Can you guys get closer? Like maybe even behind him a bit? Like what? Here, actually, just go run through it. I'll see what happens.
He hit the ground running
At the speed of light,
His star was brightly shining
like a neon light.
It's your favorite son.
It's your favorite song.
Oh, I don't like manly. Okay. Yeah.
When you walk off,
You hit the ground running.
Burning down in my dreams, lost and found, city bound in my dreams, and screaming.
Our biggest challenge, for me anyway, in this production was really making sure the story was clear. And the choreography really helps to tell the story in a stunning way. The other element that we implemented was the use of video and projections, which they had used in the Broadway show. But I think in some ways we took it to another level on this production. We did some location shooting. We brought the two lead actors into New York and did a whole bunch of footage of them in the city, so that helped to tell the story of what was going on, in this abstract world of the stage. We used green screen at one point to create a music video, basically an army promotion, recruiting promotion.
Not falling off my skateboard.
jeez, remembering the words.
Oh, not falling off the platform.
That too.
Trying to imagine myself with a blown off leg and how to react to that.
Yeah. We had some challenges with the music because this piece was first an album 10 years ago, and many of the students knew the music from that source, and then it was modified for the Broadway show, and they heard the cast recording, and then they learned the music from that, and we got the music, the actual printed music, and the printed music was revised after the Broadway show closed for one last time. In fact, it was revised 6 weeks before we got it. And so we found some things that were different, and in particular there was one section in a chorus of Last Night on Earth that had that was shorter than the recording and had in a whole 4/4 section one measure of 3 beats, which was kind of a
jarring, and there was a lot of resistance to that. And so finally, after 4 weeks in the rehearsal process, I did what I should have done at the beginning, which is that I emailed Tom Kitt and asked him if that was what he intended, and I got a response back within 24 hours saying, indeed, yes, that's what he intended, and it was supposed to feel like a record skip, which is interesting because Jonathan has been calling it that for the first whole 4 weeks of the rehearsal process. Sounds like a record skipping. Oh yes, as a matter of fact, it does. And everybody got on board, I think, after we realized, well, yes, this is intended, this is what it's supposed to be, and it turns out to be quite effective and quite beautiful.
No friends, no girls. I need both. Coming down across the alleyway. He's insubordinate.
It's a lot of fun. I've never played anything like this ever. I love this song. It is so aggressive. It's really letting me just freak out without actually hurting someone.
In my own private suicide.
I'm also really impressed with the ensemble in this show. It's one of those shows that I've watched from several different angles and seen it so many times that each time I watch I'm picking up layers and nuances that the ensemble have created, and their relationships and their specificity every time they're on stage is so on point and so clear, and it's just been a thrill to work with 26 actors who come in to every rehearsal and every performance excited about the material and excited about their part and what they can contribute to the material. So that's been absolutely terrific.
Can you guys work with her a little bit on that and work that out? Can we assign two guys to lift mic and then two others? So let it escalate. That timing is actually going to work really well. Yeah, and it makes sense. Now all of a sudden we've got making some sense out of the dramatic music.
just kind of take me out of my comfort zone a little bit, made me get a little bit more comfortable with her. So I didn't feel and it looked so awkward trying to be in this romantic flying love scene thing. So we got to explore it a little bit and make things a lot better, I think.
Extraordinary Girl, I was trying to create movement that would make them look weightless. And so my goal was to have the actors not touching the ground at all. So I used the ensemble to help keep them elevated and in the air the whole time. That's where the idea came from. Catch where you were.
Yeah, can we check our beginning hand position so like nothing is close to versus true present?
Ready? Wait. Alright. 1, 2, 3, up.
How you feeling? You good?
How you doing, Lauren?
Good to know.
He lets go.
No.
Do you guys need a break?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
How's it going, Laura?
It's scary, but it's so fun.
Crying.
Creating a story that like resonated for you and the specific people that you were working with and building relationships from that rather than like drawing from the script like what you thought it should be and making it like really
making
awesome
it make
and personal.
sense.
Yeah. Personable.
And just being a real person, because it's so much easier on stage from like go out there and be a character and acting.
Yeah, no.
But it's almost harder sometimes to rein in and just try to be a real person.
On the first couple days of rehearsal to teach them how not to get hurt and how to modify their technique to make some of the rock sounds that they were going to hear in the show. I then let them learn the show and stage the show, and then started coming in towards the end to make sure that if there were vocal issues that hadn't gotten worked out by acting choices, by making strong acting choices, that we could then make little tweaks to kind of finish things off. One of the particularly challenging things is trying to get students who come from a wide range of backgrounds to sound like themselves singing rock and roll. We have some students who have mainly been singing legit music theater repertoire, and it requires a different technique in some ways than singing rock and roll. And they've been training to have this really refined vocal quality, which they should be doing. But for a show like American Idiot, we want a vocal quality that's more rough, more gritty, more real. And so we also had to learn for this production how to do some screams. There's several parts in the score that say primal scream. And trying to learn how to do that without shredding your vocal folds is it's a tricky slope. And we brought in Melissa Cross, who is known as the Queen of Scream, to work with the students on how to do death metal, which isn't exactly what's in the show, but it's the kind of screaming that I think the score calls for.
Or Marge Simpson.
I mean, building my character has been both a challenge and a really, really fun ride. I don't know, you have to get comfortable with each other and the nakedness.
Yeah. And I think that went pretty smoothly.
Pretty smoothly,
in all honesty.
actually.
Just jumped right into it in the dress rehearsal, and
like-
then from there on, it was pretty comfortable afterwards.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is kind of like around this couch. So I think the most difficult thing was to like find like what am I doing and why am I doing it, and then like what is that going to do in the end, and like the jacket. She comes out and Too Soon grabs the jacket and walks off, and it comes and leaves with my jacket, and then later she's up there with the jacket on. Coming up with those ideas was a lot of fun, and like she has a tattoo. Oh, and the shirt. Yes, the shirt's another good thing. There was an idea that we had that like I would keep the shirt of hers throughout the musical, and it would kind of like call me back to remembering her, and then in the end, kind of wrapping everything up, and then also like she has a tattoo on her arm that is like written in my handwriting.
Amazing working with him, because we were actually having a conversation a couple days ago about how great it is because it's so much give and take, and I think we each bring different ideas about how we feel or what we want to incorporate, and the other one says, I can give you this, or to be honest to my character, I can't give you this, but I can give you this, and it's been a really awesome learning experience. And personally, I walk into this space and I'm like in love with him.
Never end that sleep.
Can't you feel the earthquake coming on? So tell me when it's time to say I love you.
Knees to the left. 5, 6, 7, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 1, up, 2, 3, down, right up.
For American Idiot, I wanted to add more dance movement because I felt that our students could handle choreography, so I wanted to push them a little bit more. I felt that the song had more intricacies than what maybe the Broadway version or the Berkeley Rep version did, so I tried to add a little bit more and added faster gestures that I thought would add to the dynamic quality of the music.
One nation controlled by the media. You wanna be an American idiot. One nation controlled by the media. You wanna be an American idiot. One nation controlled by the media. One nation in commissariat. Calling out you idiot America.
Well, everything was very exciting. It's always a pleasure to work on something that the students are behind 100%, and they were, so we got 100% from them at every
For me, since I saw the show on Broadway, I've had this burning desire to direct it. And because we're doing so much work with contemporary and pop rock styles of singing here at the school, I thought it was a perfect marriage for us to be the institution to premiere it.
And that was that. So it seems. Is this the end? Just the beginning. All I know is she was right. I am an idiot. It's even on my birth certificate in so many words.
This is my rage. This is my love.
This is my town.
This is my city.
This is my life. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.